This brief video will discuss how to use the Highlight Hotspot feature in Schoology Assessments to give students the opportunity to identify the correct location on an image to respond to a question in a class assessment. In order to do this, I'm going to create my class assessment in Resources. That way I can share it with colleagues, and also the time that I take to create this assessment can be a time saver because I can use the same assessment over and over, or I can use the same image and then change the questions. The most laborious process is to identify which areas in the image will be correct answers, and so this will save me some time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to Add Resource, and I'm going to click on Add Assessment. The Highlight Hotspot feature is not available in Test and Quiz, so I need to add assessment. In this case, I'm going to have a World War II quiz. You'll notice it says quiz, but remember, I'm creating an assessment, and that is where I'll be able to create the Highlight Hotspot type of question. I can take some time to set it up later. I'm just going to go ahead and go to Questions, and I'm going to scroll down until I get to Highlight Hotspot. Highlight Hotspot will give me an opportunity to identify specific areas in an image that represent different answers to the question. I'm going to go ahead and upload my image, which I have already located on the desktop. It takes a little bit of time to upload, and I'm going to go ahead and click OK, and I'm ready to write my first question. So for my first question, because we're at the relatively early stages of our discussion of World War II, is going to be related to World War I as a review. In which country was Archduke Ferdinand assassinated starting World War I? The answer is Yugoslavia, but what I have to do is I have to identify the different areas on the map that represent the different countries that students could choose from. You'll notice I've selected Draw, and I'm going to go ahead and outline those different countries. This is the part that takes a little bit of time, and you'll notice what I'm doing is I'm tracing each country, making sure that my last section finds the first dot. You'll also notice I'm not taking the time to actually outline it completely. I'm going to go ahead and make a rough outline because otherwise I may be here a little bit longer than anticipated. The other thing to keep in mind is my hotspots cannot overlap. So for example, when I'm highlighting Italy here, it's important to note that I cannot go in here in France. I have to make sure I'm staying outside that hotspot. This way I can make sure that the hotspots don't overlap and things don't get confusing for the students. I also don't have to have hotspots for every country because we haven't actually discussed every country in the class. So for example, here I've highlighted Yugoslavia, Russia, and several other countries in Western Europe. I'm not going to take the time to highlight these unless I have a question specifically related to it. So I've highlighted all these questions. Incidentally, I will let you know I have 8 questions that I would like to use. I'm going to copy the question once I've created it and then reuse this map. So I only had to go through the process of highlighting the hotspots in the map once. So I've highlighted all the options. You'll notice when I go down to correct answer setup, they are all highlighted for me already. So I'll go back to my question. The answer is Yugoslavia. And I'm going to click Save. Now my Highlight Hotspot question is correct. I can always change the points as I can with any other question. The neat thing about this is I can click on these 3 dots here, click Copy, and what it's going to do is it's going to copy this question. So when I go back here, I can put in my second question. Which country left the First World War before Germany was defeated? These hotspots are still here. And the answer in this case is going to be the number 6, So I go down to correct answer, and the correct answer is this one. And then I click save. And that's how to add a question to a quiz or to an assessment using the Highlight Hotspot feature.